A few videos ago, I spoke about the importance of setting energetic boundaries and remaining in control while you are practicing working with and connecting to energies and entities. And in that video, I shared that I would follow it up with some information about how to stay in control and how to stay safe while you are connecting, so in the practice. So while that video discussed kind of like why it's important and setting yourself up, this one is really going to talk about in the moment. So if you're interested in finding out more, definitely watch this one, but also make sure that you watch the previous one as well. It'll be linked down in the description box, but it'll also be linked at the end of this video. And while you are checking out the description box, you might as well click on the subscribe button and that, notification bell. And then let me know if you're enjoying these energy videos and if you want more content like it by clicking the thumbs up button. So the main piece that I consistently shared in that previous video and will consistently continue to share in this video is that you remain in control. And it's important to consistently remind yourself this. So if you are connecting and something doesn't make sense, ask. If an energy shows up and you don't recognize that energy, ask. If you are journeyed somewhere and you're not sure where you are, ask. If you need to know where you are, who you're with, what you're doing there, ask. And at any point in time, if you don't feel comfortable, bring yourself back to yourself, to this physical present moment, and draw yourself back in. I will get into that as we go through this video. So essentially, the core message here, you are in control. If you don't know what's going on, direct it. Ask. Pull yourself back, reevaluate, reassess. You are always in control. And you can take control at any time. And to provide an example of this, we are going to work through the process of connecting, and then I'm going to use the example of journeying into a past life because it is a place that can be easy to get lost. So I'm going to use that as an example, but please know that you do not need to go to that extreme in order to apply these practices and these tools. Also, if you aren't quite at that stage, but you still want to connect and you still want to obtain these messages, you can click on the link that is in the description box to book a session with me. And I will do the connecting for you or journey with you, but typically I do the connecting and then I just present you with the information that comes through. So if you are interested in that, but you're not quite there in your personal development, you can click the link in the description and book a session with me. I'm going to walk you through the whole process in this example and kind of give examples along the way as to where I would pause, where I would take control, where I would ask questions, and give you some ways that you can utilize these tools and these skills, again, whether it be in a strong example like the one that I'm using, or whether it just be something similar to you are lying in bed one night and you can feel an entity. I know that does not seem like a minuscule example, but either you are engaging with them or they are engaging with you, you still remain in control and you can still apply all of these tools and practices. Starting at the beginning, you set yourself up in the space in which you are choosing to connect. For me, I sit on my couch and I get myself comfortable and I begin to take a few deep breaths and really just establish that initial foundation. Usually at this point, I begin to set a bit of an intention around like my human form, my human ego stepping to the side, receiving the messages that I need to receive in that moment and in language that is clear to me. I also express my desire and my need and my request and the intention that all of these messages come through only for the highest and greatest good of all involved and only messages from the light. I share a bit of an intention, a more solid intention that I use in some way, shape, or form in that previous video about energy. And at this stage, I also start to bring awareness to what it is that I'm looking for. So what kind of clarity I'm looking to receive, what question I happen to have, or if there's a pattern that I'm trying to figure out. And I do all of this while I'm kind of still human. And then my practice is that I go to a place of nature and I meet my guide in this place of nature. You may have a different practice, you may have something else that has developed or that you've been taught, but that's mine and that's what I do. So I go and I meet this guide, and this particular guide really just, his purpose seems to be to guide me to where it is that we're going to go to address this message. So I arrive at the place of nature, and then he will help me to go down into the underworld, go up into the spirit world, journey to the Akashic records, or sometimes we'll be like, no, we're just going to hang out here in this place in nature. And so his work is really leading me and transporting me to the location that my soul needs to go in order to do the work at hand. And this is where I want to stop and pause and give you an example of the very first point where okay, not the first point. The first point is before I even start the work and all the intention setting that happened. So the second point in time where typically I come in as taking control and reminding myself that I am in control. And what I do in this moment is sometimes I go in with my intention and the energy is like ready to go. And it's like, and I launch into whatever it is that I'm going, but I'm not ready. So in that moment, what I'll do is, even though I have this relationship with this guide, I trust this guide, I trust where we're going, what I will do is I will bring myself back to that place of nature, and I'll be like, I'm not ready yet. And so we'll go back into the place of nature. In my place of nature, I will reaffirm my intention. I will reaffirm why I am seeking these answers. I will reaffirm my energetic protections and my energetic intentions. And then we will proceed forwards to wherever it is that we're going. Now, sometimes I do try to be a little bit too much in control in this instance. I'll be like, no, we're going to stay in nature. And my guide is like, no, we're going to the Akashic records. So in those moments, there is a level where I'm like, okay, well, if we're going to go to the Akashic records and not stay in nature, then I just need to like re-get myself into this spot where I'm ready to go up to the Akashic records. So again, it's this reminder that even though I may not know where we're going in the initial moment, or I may come in with an intention not to go somewhere, I still stay firm that I have control before I take off and I go somewhere. Continuing on this example, this one, we are going to go up into the Akashic records, and then we're going to proceed to get the room key and go up into the Akashic records room in order to access a past life. Personally, I have a tendency to actually access past lives through my counsel because they play it as a video versus in the Akashic records room, I'm typically going into the experience. And that takes a lot of extra energy that I don't need necessarily to take and to utilize. That said, sometimes this is the deeper expression that needs to be done in order to really understand what's happening, and so we'll go up into the room. I am using this going up into the room as the example because, again, I kind of want to use one that is quite deep, even though all of these tools and practices can be applied anywhere in any setting. So we go into the Akashic records, going up into the room, we've got the key, enter into the Akashic records room, and then we're ready to receive the book and enter into the past life book in order to get this lesson, this memory, this experience, this remembrance of a strength or a power or of a skill. And as we enter into the Akashic Records room and we're preparing in order to receive the book, again, there's a moment of pause to reset the intention. So before even receiving the book, it's about receiving the correct book. And so we take that moment inside the records room to settle our energy in the records, to become aware of our surroundings, any entity that is in there. Typically, you might feel a records keeper who is there, and reset your intention for what it is that you are looking to receive, what message you're looking to receive in that experience. Then you'll be presented with the appropriate book. And before stepping into the experience, before stepping into that past life, you first take a moment to reconnect with your own energy, to shield yourself with an energetic bubble, to stand in your strength, and to remind yourself that you are there as a witness. And then you step into that previous lifetime. And as you arrive in that previous lifetime, again, you are in control. You remain in control. You take a look at your surroundings. And as you adjust and take a look at your surroundings, you may not recognize what's happening, or your human mind may not be able to process what is going on. And again, you are in control. So you can ask for a different scene. You can ask for a different experience. You can ask for the timeline to be moved. You can ask for something that your human experience can interpret. Now, that said, one of the biggest keys here is that you kind of just need to take whatever is happening as what is going on. So even if you can't process it, even if you can't fully grasp it as a human, you still want to accept what is going on. You can ask questions, but allow for those messages to come through. And now, again, let's say that you have viewed this scene and you're like, I don't understand why. Why am I here? What is happening? What does this have to do with the question that I was asking? You can ask to be moved forwards, backwards, or in another experience of the scene. You can ask to get a clearer picture of the timeline of events. You can ask for it to be shown to you in a different way. And sometimes something else happens. Sometimes instead of not getting the messages, sometimes your energy can get confused and can enter into the scene instead of witnessing it. Personally, I strongly encourage you to remain the witness. Sometimes the way that you do your work will be stepping into the scene and becoming the scene. But for now, and especially as you're getting more familiar with this work, even if you become the scene, I strongly encourage you to take control and to step back and to step out of the scene and become the observer again. Watch what is going on instead of immersing yourself in it. Now, if you were to get immersed in it, or if you were even to be witnessing a scene and you are feeling too much, I will continue to remind you that you remain in control, even when it doesn't feel like it. And so here are some tips, here are some practices, here are some ways for you to regain your control. If you are feeling caught up or worked up, if you are feeling too much emotion, if you are immersed in the scene instead of viewing the scene, you can ask to be moved to another point in the story or in the timeline. You can ask for a member of your spirit team to come and join you. You can replace your energetic bubble around you. You can take that step backwards physically, or you can move yourself backwards so that you can observe instead of be immersed in. You can ask to see this lesson in a different way, from a different perspective, a different viewpoint, a different angle, or a completely different timeline or experience of this lesson. You can remove yourself from this past life and step back into your records room. And if you need to, and this can be quite a shock, you can take yourself directly out of that scene and put yourself back in your physical body. You can skip past stepping out of the records. You can skip past coming back to your place of nature. You can skip past all of it and you can put yourself immediately back into your physical body. That, depending on how far your energy body has traveled, can be very shocking, but it can be done. If that needs to happen, give yourself a lot of time to sit there. Give yourself time to come back into your human body, because even though you have pulled yourself in, you're not back yet. Even though that your surroundings are now consciously your physical surroundings, your soul is still coming back in. And if you can, go back into your place of nature at the very least, or if you really can, go back into your Akashic Records room, step back into your Akashic Records room, work yourself back out of the Akashic Records, back into your place of nature, and then back into your body. So even though you've kind of like bypassed all of that, if you can go back through those steps, please do that, because it will help to reground you. And finally, no matter what, whether you have been able to go through all of the steps or whether you have had to yank your spirit and your energy body back into your physical body, upon returning to your physical body, you may need to take a deep breath of fresh air. So stick your head out the window. You may need to take some water, or sometimes if I'm really feeling ungrounded, I'll actually have a little like bite of food to eat, because that really helps to get you back into the physicalness of it all. You may also need to take an Epsom salt bath, but no matter what, be gentle with bringing yourself back into your physical form, especially if you've done that yanking process of getting yourself back into your physical form. Now, the thing that I needed to share with you there is you do still remain in control. So even when you feel caught up, even when you feel out of control, you are actually still in control, and you can bring yourself back into your physical form. It is jarring to do that, but it is possible, and you have the power and the strength to do that. So if you feel uncomfortable in any experience, you can take a step backwards and then take another step backwards and then take another step backwards. And you can pull yourself back down through the process into your physical form. But if you need to, you can quite literally yank your soul, your energy body, back into your physical form. And it is jarring, but you are in control and you can do that. I am going to go into souls that feel more comfortable not in the physical form in a future video. So definitely, if you're interested in that, or if you're like, but my soul like really does not want to come back in, leave me a comment down below, because I would love to speak about that a little bit more, about kind of coaxing your soul back in versus and giving it like a soft landing, and just establishing that connection between your body and your soul, so that your soul doesn't have that like, you let me out, I don't want to go back in kind of experience. So your soul feels a little bit more comfortable coming back into your physical body. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in that, and if you have any questions about that. But that can be a thing. So again, it might be a tether that you tie as part of your initial practice, like as part of your intention setting, is you might actually tie a tether to your soul before you go into an experience, so that you can actually yank on that tether and pull your soul back in, or pull your energetic body back into your physical body. Come up with those practices, and if that makes sense, or if you have other practices that you use, please do share them in the comment section below, because I know that there are a lot of people who feel ungrounded naturally, and then they enter into this work and they get so excited about their soul and their energy body getting to float outside of their physical body where it feels more comfortable, and then it's like, oh no, I don't want to go back. So if you have practices that really work for you, please do share them in the comment section down below. And if you're interested in somebody else, a reader such as myself, to journey you or to provide you with these messages, like this is what I can do this for you so that you don't have to be the one going up and doing it. So if you're on this video and you're interested in it, but either you haven't connected or you don't want to for whatever reason, then let me know by booking a reading in the description box there, and I will do that work for you, and then I'll just give you the messages that come through for you. So you don't have to be the one that actually goes out and does that. So that information is in the description box below. While you're in the description box, please do click on the subscribe button and that notification bell. Share this content out with the people in your world that might benefit from it. You can also just link them directly into either my social media is @thesimplyca on Instagram, or give them my direct link to book a reading if that's something that they might be interested in. And let me know in the comment section how you've experienced energy journeys, how you've experienced these practices, and if this makes sense or if you still have more questions. And I will see you in the comments and in the next video, and I will link the previous energy boundary video here for you. And I will see you in the next video.